Do you remember the 2020 graphics card shortage? For millions of buyers, purchasing a graphics card wasn't just expensive, it was nearly impossible. So how did one of the most essential PC components suddenly become so scarce? To understand what happened, we have to go back to early 2020. On March 11th, the World Health Organization officially declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic. For most people, life changed overnight. Offices closed, schools moved online, millions of people suddenly needed computers at home. People stuck at home started purchasing more electronics than ever before. PC sales increased by more than 13% in 2020, but the problem was the companies making those devices weren't prepared for that level of demand, and that especially included graphics cards. Now I want to share with you how the supply chain for graphics cards works for some much needed context. One thing a lot of people don't realize is that Nvidia and AMD don't actually manufacture their own GPUs. They design the chips, but the actual manufacturing is built in countries like Taiwan or China. This is because building semiconductor factories is extremely expensive. So instead of owning every factory themselves, companies like Nvidia reserve manufacturing capacity for months ahead of time. By the time COVID started, most semiconductor factories were already operating at close to maximum capacity. Then came September 2020. Nvidia finally announced the RTX 3080 and the expectations were extremely high. It offered a massive performance increase. It was designed for high-end 4K gaming and the price was only $699. This looks like one of the best GPU launches Nvidia has ever done. But there was a problem. Everyone wanted one. So when the RTX 3080 launched on September 17th, retailers were overwhelmed. Cards sold out within seconds and some websites even crashed, and almost immediately the cards started appearing on resale websites. A $699 graphics card was now listed for $1,200, maybe even $1,500. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang said the 3080 and 3090 have a demand issue and not a supply issue, but later reports showing that they were also having some supply problems. Once people realized how difficult these cards were to get, another problem appeared: scalpers. Because of the pandemic, almost every GPU launch was happening online, and that gave scalpers a huge advantage. Using automated bots, they could monitor multiple websites at once. The second inventory would be available, the bots would instantly buy all the cards. For normal customers, it was almost impossible to compete. Some scalpers showed off just how many cards they managed to buy. One person even claimed to have purchased 42 3080 cards. Those cards were then immediately listed for huge markups online. Retailers eventually started trying out new solutions. Micro Center moved many graphics card sales to physical stores. This stopped online bots but created a new problem. People started camping outside stores overnight, all for a chance just to buy a graphics card. And things were about to get even worse. During 2020 and 2021, Bitcoin and Ethereum prices increased dramatically. For Ethereum especially, GPU mining became extremely profitable. Large mining operations started buying graphics cards in huge quantities. Some mining farms had thousands of graphics cards running all at the same time. This added another massive source of demand, and Nvidia eventually tried to separate gaming GPUs from mining. The company released dedicated mining cards called CMP cards. The idea was to make gaming GPUs less attractive to miners, but it didn't completely solve the problem. Mining still remained profitable, and demand continued to outpace supply. Eventually, the market started to change. In late 2021, cryptocurrency prices started to drop, and mining became less profitable. And in 2022, Ethereum moved away from GPU mining completely after switching to proof of stake. Suddenly, one of the biggest sources of GPU demand disappeared. Mining companies no longer needed massive amounts of graphics cards, and many started selling their used GPUs. At the same time, supply chains started recovering, and manufacturers were able to produce more cards. Retailers finally had inventory, and prices began falling. People weren't desperate anymore. They could simply buy graphics cards normally. So what actually caused the GPU shortage? The answer is almost everything. COVID increased demand for electronics, semiconductor manufacturers couldn't expand production fast enough, and scalpers used bots to buy up all the inventory, and cryptocurrency miners added even more demand. No single problem created the shortage, it was every problem happening at the exact same time, and that's what made it so extreme. For anyone trying to build a PC during this time, a graphics card went from being a normal PC component to something people were waiting months to buy, and eventually, after years of shortages, the market market finally returned to normal. But the GPU shortage remains one of the biggest examples of what happens when demand suddenly changes. Before I end this video though, I just want to give a huge thank you. Thank you for all the support I've been getting recently. My last video did so much better than I imagined, and this really makes me want to keep pumping out content for you guys. I want to mention some fans and some people. Depression Lol GD, thank you for being my 100th subscriber. Food God Food 44, Kiki Ricelf, Spooky Ma 2, Tracy Codlike, Cookie VR95, and Nevar2112. If you guys heard your name here, make sure to comment down below, and comment down below some more. I may do this more often. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.